Take it away, Mr. Lynch.
All right. My pick this month is ResMed, ticker symbol RMD. It's the second time, I believe, that ResMed's been picked. I think Ken did it back in February of 2011. Since it's been picked before, I won't go into great detail about the company itself, focus mostly on the judgments. But as you can see here from a slide from the company's latest quarterly presentation, they're a global leader in the sleep disordered breathing area and other respiratory medicine. So that's essentially what they do with ventilators and the like. If we move to the next slide, it'll talk a little bit about some of that. What they seek to do in this sleep disordered breathing, or the SDB area that they talk about, is to improve the quality of life for people suffering from it. And they do that through their products and their technology, which again are very much the breathing devices and monitors is the principal products that they sell. They also spend a relatively significant amount of their revenues on seeking to educate the public and make the public aware of the problems with sleep disordered breathing and potential connections with other ailments such as diabetes and cardiac disease is two of the areas that they're citing a lot of research in recently. And then, as you can see down at the bottom, ventilation solutions and the monitoring systems that I mentioned. Here's the historical sales and earnings. And as you can see, with the exception of 2007, it's pretty much up straight and parallel, as Mid-Michigan definitely appreciates, with historical sales growing at 22%. And leveling off just a little bit over the last 4 or 5 years, which we'll see, I believe, on the next slide. Yes, this is a slide that I was hoping Mark would ask me, what in the heck are you doing here?
What in the heck are you doing here?
When I sent it to him, it's kind of a conglomeration of some places that I look for the judgments that I'll talk about on the next slide. The first in the upper left-hand corner that you see, the sales growth, that's over the trailing periods from 9 years back to the latest year. And you'll see that over the last roughly 4 years, the company's been growing in the 14-ish% range, relatively steadily, but slightly declining, as you can see, certainly from the last year, where it was 13.8, right at the 14%. And that tended to lead me to my projected growth rate, we'll see in the next slide, but don't go there yet, of 13%, which also tracks right at what Morningstar's projecting, and is slightly below Value Lines, which is right at around 14%. The next chart over next to that is from bigcharts.com, as you can see there, and it is the historical PE ratios for the last 5 years. I've blocked out the last 3 from 2009 forward because it tends to correspond with that relatively level sales growth of 14-ish%. So the growth is kind of stabilized out. And you can see there that the PE ratio has ranged from about 20, where it is now, up to a high of about 30, and tended to be kind of in that middle range. Again, since my projected growth rate is a little below the 14 or so percent there, I decided to take the low end of that PE range. Predicted PE is 20, as we'll see on the next slide. And then the bottom is just the Value Line net margin history over the last 10 years. And again, you can see that ResMed's margin has increased and leveled out at the 17 to 18% range, which is kind of back where it was 10 years ago, and Value Line's projecting it to remain 17.5 this year, and then creep back up a little bit to 19 over the next 10 years. And I believe I projected 18, but we'll see that on the next slide, which we can go to now. All right. Here you can see the equity analysis guide, the Eagle, and this is using those of you who are familiar with the beta on Manifest Investing site, where you can adjust the judgments on the Eagle. This is using that form, and you can find that, I believe, in the first entry that Kurt posted on the general investing topics board on the Manifest forum. You can get the link to the Eagles where you can set up your own. You can see for sales growth, I chose 13%, as I explained in the last slide where that came from. The net margin, 18%. Again, roughly where it is now over the last couple of years. And then a PE ratio of 20%. Those three judgments give me a projected annual return over the next 5 years, and this is using today's closing price at 14.6%. So my pick is ResMed.
Thanks, Si. Looks good. It's been one of Ken's favorites. One thing question for either you or Ken. I know that you guys track this company fairly closely. Ken had mentioned in the past that these guys were engaging in self-diagnosis at home. Is there any update on that project and what you saw, what you were looking at?
I did not see mention of that in the latest update. I don't know. Do you have something recent on that, Ken?
No, it's dated maybe 3 months ago, but it is an ongoing project, I know, in the company to bring some of these tests so they can be performed at home rather than in a sleep center.
Yeah, because I really believe that 1 or 2 night overnighter, in the sleep center is a deterrent to many people, finding the solution. So just interesting to track that and see how that project goes.
Yes, and just to kind of piggyback off that or springboard, but much of the companies, I mentioned the education and the awareness that the company focuses on. Their statistics that they cite says that 1 in 5 adults suffer from some level of sleep disordered breathing. So that's a significant market, both to make us 1 in 5 or the 1 in 5 aware of the issue, but then also, as you pointed out, Mark, to make the diagnosis of it accessible. So
very
that's
very
what the
important stuff.
Focusing on. So
yeah, anybody in your family or friends that has apnea, it has such tremendous effects on many other things. It's just encourage them to take care of it. Thanks very much, Si.